Hi, I'm Karl Luhe, Associate Producer on Assassin's Creed Rogue.
So let's talk about, first of all, the timeline and where this game fits into the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Assassin's Creed Rogue fits in between Assassin's Creed 4 and Assassin's Creed 3. It's the cornerstone of the Kenway saga, the story of Assassins versus Templars in the mid-18th century in North America.
So what does that mean for fans of the franchise in terms of characters that might show up?
In one of our demos here, we show that Hatham is on the ship with you, so he's definitely a big returning character. Shay is an assassin turned Templar, so Hatham being a Templar master, of course you'll be very closely linked with him. And there'll also be a lot of other assassins and Templars that you've met in the other games that we'll reveal later in the campaign.
So what does playing as a Templar change up for fans of this franchise?
This was one of the most fun and exciting parts of the development, is thinking about what that means. What does it mean to be a Templar? What does it mean to have assassins as your enemy? So that was the first really interesting thing. If you're walking down the streets of New York, you can be air assassinated, or your enemies can be hiding in haystacks, and they have more weapons like smoke bombs, hidden blades. So it's a much more dangerous environment. You have to be much more on your toes. And also being a Templar, you have access to greater weaponry and more resources. So you have a fancy air rifle that has a grenade launcher attachment. On the seas, your ship has weaponry that the enemies can only dream of.
Talk a little about how you guys have advanced the naval battle warfare in this game.
So in Assassin's Creed Rogue, the naval has a very different setting in fantasy. We've gone up north. It's just off the east coast of Canada, around the Gulf of St. Lawrence. So there's icebergs everywhere. There's ice sheets you can break through. These have really interesting gameplay implications. We've also set the game during the 7-Year War fought between the British and French empires. And as a Templar, you're quite affiliated with the British. So it's a case of trying to destroy the French ships whenever you can, or take out enemy French settlements, French forts. So it's this whole theme of war and being a Templar that's really fresh.
What are you guys adding new to the ground game?
On the ground, it's being a Templar, we as well as having new weapons and having assassins as your enemies, we've also really made sure that the Templar mindset is respected, and Templars can manipulate situations however they want. So we've really set up the world to be a case of being able to manipulate the French against the British, even involve civilians or animals or gangs, and just manipulate the factions using berserk darts or sleep grenades, and just create the scenarios you need to achieve your objectives.
Can you talk a little about the Shay character and his own background as an assassin?
Yeah, so he starts the game as a brash assassin, and he starts questioning a few of the rules and the order. And then he does a mission fairly early on in the game that goes horribly wrong. He confronts the assassins and says, "Look guys, I really don't believe in what we're doing here." They turn their back on him. They even try and kill him. He just about survives, gets healed back to health by the Templars, and swears that what the assassins are doing is wrong, and therefore hunts down all of his former brothers to try and kill them.
What does having that revenge story open up from a gameplay perspective?
It's really interesting from both a narrative and a gameplay perspective. One of the first things is I've had a lot of people ask me, how can I kill an assassin? I've loved being an assassin all these years. But that's exactly the same way Shay feels. He starts as an assassin, so we want the player to go through that same emotional journey that the character does, from being an assassin to being a Templar, and really ask themselves by the end of the game, who really are the good guys here?
You guys have been working on Xbox 360 and PS3 for a long time. Can you talk about how you are pushing that hardware with this new game?
So yes, we've made Assassin's Creed on this generation for quite a while. So our engine is very mature, and every iteration allows us to push further technology. So we've found new ways to optimize. We got better texture streaming. I'm not the most technical guy, but I've been very impressed with our visual results and a very solid frame rate as well.
What is it that you guys like about this time period of exploration?
Exploration, I think that's a key part of it. So it's really beautiful exploring these environments. It's always key to Assassin's Creed to have different locations that are varied and feel fresh. So we have New York, and then on top of that we have River Valley, which is this huge hybrid world with these huge rivers going through the Appalachian Mountains in between US and Canada. That's a really interesting locale. And on top of that we have the North Atlantic naval world, full of icebergs, Newfoundland, areas to explore. Once you get your icebreaker ram, you're breaking through, finding old frozen shipwrecks, long lost ice caves, and it's lots of mystery and exploration to enjoy.
You mentioned that there are new elements to the naval warfare being a Templar. Can you give us an example?
Yeah, so the ship, the Morrigan, is equipped with a lot of new weapons. We have the front carronades, which are explosive cannons that fire out the front, really useful when there's suddenly an iceberg in your way. You can blow them out of the water. Burning oil you can lay behind you. It looks beautiful, and it's really fun if a ship's chasing you. Set the enemy crew on fire. You can even hear them screaming as they're burning aboard their ships. We have the puckle gun. This is a machine gun of the era, one of the first machine gun examples, and you can use that to free aim against enemy weak spots on their ship, or even take down smaller ships without having to use your cannons.